Hello, this is Ryan Kennedy. Today we're going to take a look at the dramatic effect that the angle of attack has on your driver distance. Now, a couple of things we have to keep in mind. One, the PGA Tour average is actually 1.3 degrees downward. Now, keep in mind at the same time, they also have an average ball speed of 170 miles an hour. So what this tells us is that if you already have tour distance, you can adjust your angle of attack downward to try to get a little bit more consistency, maybe a little bit straighter golf shot. But if you're needing some distance, then you really need to get an upward angle of attack on the golf ball. So let's hit a couple shots and see what happens with the flight scope, and then we'll talk about some of the parameters that go with your angle of attack being up, down, flat, and how to get the most out of it. We've got a couple good samples now, but before we get into that, let's talk really quickly about some stats from the PGA Tour. Now, there's a fellow named Mark Brody. He's up in the Pacific Northwest, and what he has found from studying the tour is that the strongest correlation to earning money and your place in the FedEx Cup points list is driving distance, how far you hit the ball. So even if you're the best of the best, hitting it further still will help you out. So for those of us who don't hit it as far, very, very important. Now let's take a quick look at the few shots that I just hit. I've got 3 shots, one hitting down, one hitting at flat, and one hitting up on the ball. The shot that I was hitting 2 degrees downward had a carry distance of 160 and it rolled out to 255. Now the shot that my angle of attack was 0, so it was flat. My carry distance is 194, and that one also rolled out to 255. Now, it's important to keep in mind that this driver here is fit for me, not with an angle of attack of 0 or -2. My usual angle of attack is +5. So there's a large discrepancy in the yardage for myself because of how this driver is fit for me. So the third swing, I had an angle of attack of 11.6. That correlated to a carry yardage of 280, total yardage of 305. So if we're just looking strictly at this driver, for me, going from -2 to 11.6, I gained 120 yards in carry and 50 yards in total distance. Big, big difference. Now, it's not quite as huge of a difference, but it is definitely important to take a look at. We can optimize your driver based on your angle of attack. So let's look at a few sample numbers to say what's the optimum trajectory spin rate for hitting down, for hitting flat, and for hitting up on the ball. Here's a great little graph that connects the angle of attack with the corresponding optimum launch angle and spin rate. And it also gives us the yardage that you can plan on hitting the ball with those numbers. So we're going to just look quickly here at the 85 mile an hour club head speed. And now when we're done, feel free to hit pause and you can go back and look at all the other speeds here. But let's look at 85 miles an hour first. So if you're hitting downward 5 degrees at 85 miles an hour, that means your ball speed will be 123. And your optimum launch angle, 9.3 with a spin rate of 3,100. And that's going to create a T-ball that goes about 215 yards. Now that's imperative for getting fit. You need to make sure that if you are an 85 mile an hour hitting down, that you get that launch angle and spin rate so you can get the absolute most out of what you've got. Conversely, if you plan on doing some work on the golf swing and you want to change your angle of attack, let's say we go up to the 5 degrees upward, this line here. Now, interestingly, just from going
5 down to 5 up. Ball speed changes. This is due to the spin loft. So the closer you get the loft of the club next to the angle of attack, your spin loft becomes more optimum and your ball speed will go up. Now also, please note that launch angle, you get to hit it higher because you're hitting up on it, and with optimum spin, you hit it close to 30 yards further. So if you don't want to do any changing of your golf swing, that's fine. You still need to make sure that the fitting that you get for your driver has these optimum launch angles. So now please feel free to hit pause, take a look at some of these other club head speeds on the left side. If you know what your club head speed is, then you can figure out what your optimum numbers will be.
So now we all have a better understanding of what a significant effect angle of attack can have on your driver distance. Now, if you don't want to change your golf swing, that's fine, but you still need to make sure that your numbers are optimal to get the most out of what you've got. Now, if you want to get that extra 30 yards, time to change that swing and hit up on the ball. Thanks for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you next time.